as 37 minutes past 9. Okay, good morning. Help me out. Is there?
Good morning. Okay, I think she said this minute to the hour of.
That's how they say. You know, but sometimes when you cannot quickly do the calculation, you just want to play safe.
Yeah, I think that too
if it was
cannot
40,
be very wrong.
If it was like 9:40, I'll easily say 20 minutes to. So now it means it's 23 minutes to
10 o'clock. Okay.
All right. I wasn't so good at maths, obviously. So, but then we can say 9:37 a.m.
Yeah.
That is the time. So, good morning to you once again, Oikeke.
Good morning.
And morning to those listening to us. Well, let's make use of the time that we do have and see what we can discuss on X-Ray this morning. My name is Ruth Usman. The French president still is in Nigeria, or...
Yeah, he left Abuja to Lagos last night. I think he should be leaving today.
Yeah, he should. All right, but as at yesterday, he met with the president, and according to this day newspaper, I kind of like the headline. It says, France can't solve Nigeria's insecurity problem, says Macron. Sometimes some of these headlines are quite interesting, but then the paper did say that Emmanuel Macron, that is the French president, yesterday bluntly said his country cannot help Nigeria and Africa solve the problem of insecurity, but would intervene, especially in the fight against terrorism. And I remember asking Oikeke, was that the reason why he came? Did our president ask him to come and help us? Were we asking, specifically for such help? However, Macron, who visited President Muhammadu Buhari in the State House of Abuja, encouraged the Nigerian president and other African leaders to provide enabling economic and political environments for young people. He stated this while answering questions on what assistance France could render to Nigeria over the violence being unleashed on citizens by herdsmen. Said even though France would intervene in some of the challenges facing African countries, especially in the war against terrorism, it is not the responsibility of his country to solve Africa's African problems. According to him, it is very important that African countries organize themselves in the fight against terrorism and get rid of Islamic Jihad. He said, first of all, I think the main plan is, as an African plan, is not for one to solve or fix African nations. So what we want to do is we will intervene and make our presence in Africa and Sahel to fight against terrorism, especially in Mali and in other regions. Well, he said that also ensuring that he dropped an advice for Nigerian youths to participate in politics. Okay, so we were thinking about where Africa has found itself and perhaps the contributions made many, many years ago by many of these European countries, perhaps leading us to where we are now. And with his statement, what do you make of it?
Well, I'm of the school of thought that we should depart from that thing when we have held on too long to how Europe underdeveloped Africa. Fine, of course, they came with their plans executed, and they said they conquered, and then they went away. And really, we can say yes, they are responsible to the underdevelopment of Africa. But then, they have long gone. They've been gone for a long time. And I think the time has come for us not to begin to look at how they underdeveloped us anymore. A time has come for us to look inwards and continue from where, we stopped or they stopped. God, in his infinite mercies, deposited, enough resources on the African continent in such a way that it can lead and it can liberate them from poverty and from suffering. But I think the problem that we have as Africans is not more than that, innate corruption, that has resulted to mismanagement of the resources that we have. That greed and that selfishness by us and our leaders, just to corner what is meant for the generality of the people, for ourselves alone. I think that's where the problem started from.
So you're saying we can't blame for instance, corruption on how Europe underdeveloped Africa, quote unquote.
We cannot blame that anymore.
Yeah.
We cannot anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. But I don't know if the president, both leaders met in the closed door. At the closed door meeting, so I don't know if the Nigerian president was asking for support from the French leader, but then I don't know what would expect the France to do for us in terms of tackling terrorism in the country. We have all it takes for us to begin to resolve this crisis. This crisis, first of all, we need to identify what are the remote causes and the causes, and the problem with this administration and ours is that it doesn't look like we have even identified where the problem or the remote causes of the crisis. And if we cannot identify the remote causes, that means we are far away from the solutions, because if you can't identify the problems, then how do you resolve the problems? And I'm saying this because of the so many reasons that have been given by the administration for why we are having the killings and terrorism around. Some of the officials, the minister who said this today, it's because of ranching in some parts of the country. Meanwhile, we're having these killings even in states that didn't have, anti-grazing law. Meanwhile, we're having the killings even in states that never passed any anti-open grazing law. So, and then you also see some people saying it's about power. Like the media aide to the president came out to say it's all about power and the fight against corruption. The president himself had come out to say also different things, that it's as a result of the crisis in Libya. So that is telling us that we have not identified these problems yet. And it's until we identify the problems, we cannot begin to solve it. Even France, herself has their own problem. They're not, we have seen bombs and shootings here and there, even in France. So they're not even free from terrorism and even the conflicts that we're talking about.
I think why some of these countries may have some interest, I would say, especially in the area of terrorism, perhaps they know how it can spread, and it may be, in their own interest. Yes, it may be in their own interest to see what they can do. It has turned into a global situation as we speak. It's not necessarily a Nigerian thing. But then, unfortunately, we may not really be at that point for us to be able to tackle it as many of these first world countries have been able to handle it up until now. They have not eradicated such, as a matter of fact. But then we're even looking at situations about herders and farmers. We're looking at insurgency, even though according to our security analyst yesterday, he said the whole Boko Haram situation is at this point can be referred to as terrorism. So
that's the
it really is a story state.
It has gotten to that level because of the magnitude of persons that can be killed at a point. Remember, in just the audit in Plateau State, even though the official figure said it was 86, the residents themselves said, look, over 200 persons were killed. So any attack that will resort to that kind of killings, then you can give it that is going on as genocide, especially that which is happening in Plateau State. So it has become a major problem, and I think at this point Nigeria and Africa as a continent should begin to look for their own solutions, their own ways. I don't know, but I see a time where this globalization may end. The problems have become so much that every leader now would want to tackle his or her own issues in his own local country first before looking at the other
but
nations.
Like what he also said, calling on African leaders to come together in this, I think that can help. What do you think?
What are they coming together to do or say?
Well, at least we are on the same continent.
Yes, of course. Of course, you can't overemphasize that. But what I'm trying to say is that if African leaders themselves will genuinely and sincerely depart from their ways, what is the resources that I have in my country? What can these resources do? Can I channel these resources to solve the particular problems that I have in my country sincerely? It starts from that. if the monies that we have, for instance, that we have been budgeting into fighting terrorism, if the military hardware that we've been budgeting and sending billions of dollars to acquire, if we had acquired them, if the monies that we needed to to provide employment for our youth, if we had used those monies, and a lot of our youth are engaged, if we have provided the right education, affordable education for our children, I mean, most students will not be on the street and learn these arts. So if we have done the right things at the right time, I'm sure we wouldn't have gotten to this point. But it's not too late yet. So I think African leaders should sit down and know that enough is enough. A situation where an African leader will stash away billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, and then you're wondering what does this person want to do with this money? You understand? So if we can tackle that issue of corruption and appropriate and applied our monies, our resources to developmental projects that will touch directly on the lives of our people, then that's when we'll talk about ending terrorism to start with.
Well, interestingly, the French president's visit is focusing on culture, business, and youth. However, I think these could not really be complete without talking about the very conspicuous security issues, and that's why I think he would also continue his visit by going to Lagos, the commercial capital for Nigeria. Now, it is also interesting, though, to note that he's the French ambassador is also assuring Nigeria that the France will partner, of course, with Nigeria on the issues surrounding Boko Haram and insurgency. So it's not I think they're just trying to say for us not to expect too much.
Yeah, not to expect too much. Of course, we have been receiving all kinds of support.
Yeah,
we've been receiving supports from here and there, and of course, you wouldn't expect the French president to come in here and not say anything. All right, so we've been supporting ourselves. So but then a time has come for us to look inwards and not expect so much of any nation from Europe to come and solve our local problems here. Like he said, we don't expect France to solve our problems for us, which is true. Is it Macron that will come to end corruption in Nigeria? Is he the one? Is he the one that will come to ensure that, yes, the monies that we needed to do a particular thing is done?
Yeah.
Is he the one that will come and ensure that we do the right things? And because he knows in his inner mind, and until we do the right things, then we cannot be free from the problems that we have now. So it's actually our problem, and we need to solve it by ourselves.
Okay, well, let's see if we can pick a few calls. 08189991011. That's the number to call if you want to participate on X-Ray this morning. Please remember to turn off your radio when you do call in. All right, I just lost the call, but you can call me right back. 08189991011. That is the number. Let's hear your thoughts on the French president's visit and what some of the things that he actually said as he met with our president Muhammadu Buhari. 08189991011. Hello. Okay, looks like the network here is fluctuating a bit, but well, let's keep trying, and I hope we'll get through so we can hear your contribution in this regard. Hello. Okay. There really seemed to be a network problem here. Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, sir. It's David from Central Area.
Okay, David, welcome.
Good. I'm still talking about corruption and thinking of the statement of the woman to the president. I don't know whether it's but there is no how one would want to fight and just sit down, woman and
okay, David, you're not very clear. Can you try to move around or something? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? You're hearing me now?
Mm-hmm.
Hello? I'm saying talking about the fighting of corruption.
Yeah.
And corruption, fighting back, and how we can end corruption. Because I think corruption itself is not something that we can just dive one day and say we are fighting corruption. We need to put a strong institution in place, and people have to take up their mind willingly to help at least do away with all these things to help the country move forward. Because for one thing that a particular person or a particular government will come on board in this country that we know very well and end corruption completely. It's not easy. But we know if we start from somewhere, just like we have started seeing it now. Because a lot of persons are not happy with this government. Yes, we know that. And a lot of persons have been hurt. So we all need to come out and speak. Let the corruption and let the government first put things in place that will make the people gainfully employed. If there's employment, I think there is no how if you have something doing and they are celebrating all these corrupt people, they come and give you 1,000 naira to go and protest or do. You have time to go and do that. Thank you. God will bless Nigeria.
All right. Thank you, David. 08189991011. If you can get through to me, would appreciate a call from you. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Instead of the French president in Nigeria, well, it's a good move. It is a welcoming him to Sudan that is prosperous, and that is to show that yes, Nigeria is gradually getting back to its lost glory, and that is to show that yes, we are gradually being identified in the international world map, and comes up to the president. Yeah, and for corruption, yeah, you cannot expect to fighting corruption without corruption fighting you back. It's not going to be possible. The other thing is that all the leaders going to keep their head up, fight the corruption. I think it's good to start from somewhere. They say the journey of 1,000 miles is extend. So let them just continue fighting the corruption and let please those that they know that they are corrupt. Let them just at least come to a round table. Okay, this is we know we have done this, we have done this. We urge you to forgive us, and this is what we are going to do. No, the project is everybody's responsibility. We cannot have a country that is being degraded by some corrupt politician, and you expect for them to afford their hands of why the government is fighting them. They need to fight back, but at least I know and we know with the support of the masses, if we give the government support, we are going to overcome them. They are not as many as us, but the government needs to keep their head up. We need to pray for them. God bless and God bless the president. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamil. Okay, we sure will meet in that chamber. All right. Anything more you want to say?
Well, Nigeria is a great country, and we have hope that things will change, all right. But we need to individually make up our minds for that change. We need to make up our minds to do the right things at the right times. When we open our mouth all the time, we talk about corruption, and we cannot fight this corruption if individuals don't make up their mind to stop it. If I'm stealing money, if I make up my mind to stop stealing the money, I mean that would be solved. So I think both the leaders and the rest of the people need to stop this act of taking what belongs to the rest of the people and channeling monies that are meant for the generality of the people into the developmental projects and programs that will liberate Nigerians from the current situation that we find ourselves.
All right. Thank you, Oikeke, for lending a voice on X-Ray this morning.
Thank you.
And our callers. We appreciate you. We will do this again tomorrow. Stay with us. In the 10 o'clock hour, it will be time for Pro Bono Chambers. My name is Ruth Usman.
Welcome, my dear, dear friends.